Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, deal with it. They use the actual music. Hey guys, welcome to the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon Aftershow open spoiler discussion here on the John Campea YouTube channel. I am, of course, John Campea. I'm joined by Kris Carr.
Hey guys.
Kris, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I got my Targaryen scotch.
Hold that up. Hold that up for the people. I like that.
I love it.
That's a great thing. And also, you can't see him right now. He is sight unseen, like children in a movie. Robert Meyer Burnett is sitting back there.
I am here.
He will tag in just a little bit as we are here to talk about episode 2 of House of the Dragon. And we, just so you guys know, we are going to talk about it in a full open spoilery kind of way as fans who just watched the show and now want to talk about it. So if you haven't seen episode 2 yet, you might want to just come back to this a little bit later. We're going to break this down into 2 parts. First, we're going to talk about our thoughts on the episode, and then we're going to throw it open to you guys to hear your thoughts, opinions, theories, speculation about the show, and we will do that in the second part. So to do that, we have opened up the super chats. They are open. However, be aware they will probably only be open for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to have to close it down. But with that said, so you can fire in your thoughts or opinions now. Let's talk about this episode.
Yes.
I really liked episode 1. And I was kind of actually surprised by how good I actually thought that it was. I enjoyed it immensely. I love the setting up of the world, the setting up of the characters. And I kind of started to wonder, are they going to spend the first 2, 3, 4 episodes just kind of setting it? Mm-hmm. But they didn't really at all, because we get into episode 2 and they're like, all right, 6 months later, and now we just get into depth.
Yeah.
That we did the quick setup. This is our scenario. Here are our characters. And now they start digging down into the roots, getting down into depths of the character. The whole idea about setting it up that Rhaenyra and her father haven't really been speaking since the events of the death of her mother. The whole fact that Daemon is now gone off and taken over, what is it called? Not Dragon Rock. What is it?
Oh.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Dragonstone. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, Fraggle Rock is a different place.
Then cast your fears away.
Worries for another day. They may have had a dragon there. I don't know, but either way. So he goes off to Dragonstone. So a lot has happened in 6 months, and the kingdom is pressuring him to take a new queen. I love the fact that where they ended off last week's episode with him sitting on the Iron Throne again and just getting a little cut on his finger has now turned into a massive problem, as is the cut on his back. In episode 1, he's got a little cut on him from the throne. It's developing to a big problem. He cuts his finger on the Iron Throne. It's developing to a big problem. Obviously, all metaphor that the throne will kill you.
Yes.
The power of the Iron Throne will actually cause your life to be very miserable. That being said, so the whole idea about sticking his hand in a bowl of maggots.
Gosh, it was so gross.
Eye violence or hand in maggots?
Eye violence is still worse. But man, that didn't do it for me. And I was eating breakfast and was just...
Nope. But by the way, how manly is that king? He's like, all right, stick my hand in a thing of maggots to eat away the dead flesh. Sure. He doesn't even wince.
I mean, they're doctors, John. You got to listen to them.
You got to trust the doctors.
You got to listen to
medical science.
Yeah. Trust the science. Trust the process.
Put your hand in the maggots.
Yeah.
This is just what you do. So that whole thing too. Anyway, let's start with general impressions of the episode. Mm-hmm. So I'll kick this off. I love this episode more than the first one. It's so funny. I mentioned on the John Campea Show earlier today that without a single action scene, the show was thrilling. It's all character and story, and all the characters are playing the Game of Thrones, and they are all maneuvering and manipulating and doing all this stuff. And I just ate up every second of it. I just thought it was great. Everything from the sea snake to Alicent to, all of them playing the game in their own way. And if every episode is an individual game, Otto wins episode 2. Otto wins because he went to face Daemon and lived, which, thanks to Rhaenyra, of course. But his ultimate game plan to get his lineage on the Iron Throne, it paid off. And the other thing I love about it too is that all the characters, and this is more of a specific thing, but all the characters are gray. They're not light or dark. Like Otto, I think Otto legitimately is loyal to his king. I think Otto legitimately loves his king. I really do. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have his own designs and what he wants. I love this one scene with Daemon at the end. When Daemon is talking to Corlys, and he says, and Corlys is kind of bad talking to the king. And obviously Daemon and his brother are having issues. But when Corlys starts bad-mouthing the king, I love, as he's staring into the fire, he interrupts, he goes, I will talk of my brother how I wish. He turns to him, you will not. And I love that. We saw that kind of, like that weird family dynamic in episode 1 as well. Like they may have issues and problems, but hold on a second, that is still my brother.
Yeah.
And
only
he is
you can
king.
talk shit about your own family.
Exactly.
That's
you
how it is.
will not bully my little brother. Only I will bully my little brother. And hell hath fury if you think you're going to bully. And it's like, he's your king. He's the king. He's my brother. I'll talk to him the way I want. You won't. With little lines like that, they shape the relational dynamics of the show. So I'll just tell you what. And of course, Rhaenyra showing up at Dragonstone. I said it on the show today, but we're watching it, and Anna's watching it with me. And when that happens, and she walks right up to Daemon. It's like, yeah, what, you want to kill me?
Do it.
Do it. And be done with this bother. And Anne was like, she goes, hashtag boss bitch. I'm like, yeah, right? Love that most. So yeah, general impressions overall, I loved this episode. I thought it was incredible. I told you guys this morning that when the episode ended, I was actually angry that the episode was over. But anyway, general impressions, what did you think about the episode?
Oh, this one is fascinating because it's just so much character work. And I kept waiting for something brutal to happen. I was so tense through watching this, especially once Otto goes and confronts Daemon. It was just, oh, this is going to be a complete bloodbath. And just that tension they built, and Rhaenyra just coming in there and holding her ground. So good. So wonderful. You fall in love with Patty a bit more in this one too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. King Viserys has a lot of stuff going on. Loved his wife so truly. And you really, really talk about that so much here. And you also see how he feels really uncomfortable with a lot of the aspects of getting a new wife. Namely, having to get basically a child bride.
I saw a video that somebody edited together where it's just somebody says kind of what's the problem, and then it's 3 minutes of a looping clip of going, she's 12, she's 12,
yeah,
she's 12. This is like, come on, planet Earth. We all collectively felt incredibly icky when that camera shot comes up and we see him walking with this
I would be a very good wife for you and I would sire you many children. I was like, no, you won't.
You shouldn't be saying things like this.
The horrible thing her mother said to her too of, well, you won't have to bed him until you're 14.
But that's encouraging. Don't worry about it. You got a couple of years.
You'll be fine for
Mother
a while.
says I won't have to bed you till I'm 14.
You know how you talk to your kids? Blah, blah. But and it was really lovely too to just see the genuine relationship. I know that's not great either, but between Viserys and Alicent too.
Yes,
the actual genuine affection that seems to be there. Again, she's your daughter's age. A little bit of judgment over here.
A little bit older.
Is she a little older?
I think she's a little bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, still, like if my dad dated my best friend, I'd be a little peeved and uncomfortable. So I understood that moment too. We're getting layers to this messed up family dynamic.
I mean, look, and again, everything is. There's no black and white. Like the king is from everything we're seeing, he's a truly good dude. But a lot of the things that the other people in the kingdom are saying about him and his weaknesses, they're not wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we have seen him with the best of intentions, making wrong decisions. He's pissing off the wrong people. I kind of like it. I guess if you're king, you don't even have to propose. I'm going to marry her. It's like, wait, what? Sure.
Just calling a staff meeting. All right. Well, I'm going to take a wife and that one.
Yeah, you're going to be my wife. Start the preparations.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's not all just black or white. He's gray. Alicent is also I think she legitimately felt empathy for the king. He felt empathy for her when she would talk about the passing of her mother. There is, while there were machinations there, certainly, there was also honesty there. There was a legitimacy to the affection as well, right? And kind of in a way, well, maybe Paddy Constantine should not be wedding a 17-year-old. Sure, but aside from that, there was legitimate, I think, affection and empathy for each other. Certainly more than there would have been for a 12-year-old child.
That's his niece. Or wait, what's their relationship?
Yeah,
I don't know. Targaryens,
his
man.
Cousin's daughter. But it's Targaryens. I mean, hey, like, I'm not passing judgment how they did things in old Valyria. I mean, that's fine. You do what you want to do. No, but obviously, like, how disgusting. Oh, just that camera shot came up, and I'm like, he's a child. Anyway. So there's that. But knowing Hollywood, the actress playing her was probably 23 years old because apparently the girl playing Rhaenyra is actually a 22-year-old actress. I thought she was like 14 too, but hey, that's camera work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk, even though I said Otto won this round of the Game of Thrones, Otto's the winner. Really, the show's main character, I think, is Corlys, the sea snake.
I love him.
This is really kind of his highlight episode. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in. But he, first of all, in Game of Thrones, whoever the king was, you couldn't come in and talk to the king the way he talks to the king. I mean, so there's that. Seeing the king then being ever the diplomat. Like after the initial kind of brush up, he goes to him, to his cousin, and say, hey, look, I value you. And they both apologize. It's all good. But at the end, he's clearly pissed off, goes off and makes the power move with Daemon. Mm-hmm. And then we get a glimpse into what's coming in the next episode. In the little post-show credits showing what's coming up. And there's some nasty, nasty things coming. But this was really his thing, setting up the world. Also talking about, we're all Valyrian. Except House Targaryen, they had dragons. We had the sea. And all that kind of stuff. And even saying that there's some texts say that our family came to Westeros before the Targaryens did, before the fall of the great city. I mean, so learning so much about him, seeing him at his thing, again, a lot of gray. Because he was right to come to the king and say, hey, we got to go do something about this pirate king, it's the crab feeder. And he was right. Something had to be done. And the show opens with this horrific imagery of crabs eating the live flesh of, nasty, nasty stuff. So he's right that all that has to happen. But he's also a guy trying to pimp out his 12-year-old daughter and put her on the throne. Politically, it all made sense.
Absolutely.
I get it, but
it's icky feeling.
It's so icky.
I don't like it.
No, there's so much not to like. But still, I mean, that's the Game of Thrones, right? That's what's going on here. And I just, and again, the interaction too between Daemon and Rhaenyra as she comes and faces him on the bridge, because they already established so much last week. Look, they have a adversarial issue right now. But beneath that, the two of them have legitimate affection for each other. They have, as I heard, one of the commentators say, they have a bond. They clearly do, which is why she knows she can say to him, go ahead, kill me.
Yeah.
And he knows he's not going to do that. And she was probably even more so than the king himself. Had the king been staying there, I think she was the one person in Westeros that she could say that would make him turn around, walk away, and give back the egg. And I just like how he even kind of just like tosses it at her and throws it at her.
I love her too, like looking at
Mysaria?
Yes. Well, in Rhaenyra's moment of just looking at her and saying, "You're with child."
Yeah, which she was like, the look on her face was like, I'm what?
Yeah. Just, you told them I what? That whole interaction was great too. I love that Daemon is just trying to goad his brother. Oh yeah, no, I'm already making heirs over here. I'm making moves. I'm going to steal your dragon egg. Got all this on
I'm taking
lockdown.
Dragonstone. I am doing all the, but what was the name of the character again from the original Game of Thrones series that, why am I freezing? What was her name that Tyrion was with?
Oh yeah.
Like she kind of had a French accent as a little bit as well. But this character, and by the way, I just think of her as thinking the word misery, Mysaria. I can't remember how you. What's it? Shay. Let's bring that picture of her back up here again for a second.
Who are we looking at?
Damon's
Gotcha.
supposed fiance.
Yeah.
But Shay was what's his name's
Tyrion's.
Oh, that was Tyrion's. Okay, thank you. She reminded me a lot of her, but I loved the confrontation they had with each other after all this. Because she's like, you're using me as a pawn. And the problem is, you Targaryens, people who get dragged into your issues end up dying. And don't make me a part of this. I didn't come to you for this. I'm not with you for this. And I really love that interaction, which makes me feel like she's going to play a more prominent role moving forward. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the book. So I'm speaking simply as a TV fan here. But I still like their dynamic because he clearly legitimately has a lot of affection for her.
And they were so great when she did I made sure a long time ago to never be burdened with child. And he was like, that's a smart move. They're awful.
They're awful.
They're terrible.
They're a complete bother.
But I really like her whole thing too of she talks about how she doesn't want status or power or these things. It was, I want to be free. That's what I'm after. And you are putting me in a position where my freedoms will be taken away again because people think that they can get to you through me now. I'm not about that. I really, really like the dynamic that they're setting up for those two.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And obviously, he didn't just pack up and leave Dragonstone. So that's still an outstanding issue.
Also, when are we going to see his hedgehog of a wife? When are we going to see this woman that he hates so much?
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be like a big reveal of some sort. Because I like how, I remember even Anne said when they were talking about, when Corlys and his wife were talking about giving him their daughter, and Anne's like, which one was she? And I'm like, I don't think we've met her yet. And it was all to set up because look, you're looking to get reactions from the audience, right? When they set up the fact that we had never met this girl, I'm positive they never let us see her before this scene because they wanted that guttural reaction, that ooh reaction we all were going to have when that first shot comes up and shows that she is just a child.
We'd only gotten little glimpses of her during the jousting, but she was just sitting on. Yeah, she was just sitting off with her brother.
Yeah, well, I had no idea that was Corlys' son.
And because she's sitting next to another child, scale came into factor.
Right.
When she shows up next to Viserys, and you're just that tiny little baby. No. Stop talking about making babies.
I will bear you many children.
Burned into my mind's eye forever.
I just again, as the guy on his council is like, well, you know, the political power. This is the Great Alliance. You're the two great Valyrian families. Well, she's 12. That just moment was so well set up and so well executed that I just...
That had to be so satisfying to finally deliver that line too. Of just, are we going to say it finally? She's a child.
Yeah.
She's a child.
Let's fast forward for a second to one of the last scenes of the episode when the king is in with his small council and he's making the announcement that he's going to get married. There is sometimes some of my favorite performance elements come when there are no words. And there's that moment when the king says who he's going to marry, and he turns and looks at Alicent. And you see that moment of recognition in Rhaenyra's face. When she realizes, she turns her head slightly, and this look comes over her face. And I was completely taken aback. Like, without saying, you know what it reminds me? It reminds me of Batman versus Superman in that opening scene that you see Bruce running through the city and all that kind of stuff and seeing all the damage that's being done. And then he looks up to the sky with that look. And that's what that look reminded me of. You could see the hurt, the betrayal, the anger, and she barely flinched a muscle in her face. And then she just turns and walks out. And that moment to me was incredible. I don't think Alicent meant to hurt. I don't think she was trying to trick Rhaenyra. I think she has legitimate affection for her. I really do. But I mean, that moment, the drama in that moment, I thought was great. What do you think about the scene? What stood out to you?
I love it. I love that so much. Well, and backtracking from what they set up earlier too, of do you talk to Rhaenyra about our talks?
Please don't talk to Rhaenyra about the talks.
I don't want her to know. I don't think she'd understand. And then, of course, Your Grace. And then we come to this of just, well, now she knows. Now she knows, and this is exactly why you didn't want her to know, because he knows it's a little wrong. You know, he knows that it is a betrayal of his daughter's trust, of he's finally started talking to her bit by bit again, and then Hey, I'm going to marry your best friend.
Yeah, it's like you kind of gave me the half truth of, okay, I'm going to have to marry again. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Says Rhaenyra, I understand. You have the role of the king. You got to take it. That's great.
We're both on the same page.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you're going to
Probably.
ship my friend.
I don't understand how you don't let her know first.
Yeah.
You don't let her be the first to know and like then expect any other kind of reaction out of her than the one she gave. Death stare, walk out of the room. Right. So, I mean, I adored this thing. And by the way, let's talk just for a quick second. That conversation between the queen who never was and Rhaenyra on that balcony, nothing but truth being dropped from both sides. And again, the hashtag boss bitch part of Rhaenyra, when she said they rejected a woman on the throne. No, they rejected you. They bent the knee to me. But then she's just dropping complete truths as well.
Absolutely.
She's like, listen, the men of Westeros would rather see the Seven Kingdoms burn than see a woman ascend to the Iron Throne. They had their chance. I was the rightful heir. I was the eldest surviving child of the king. It should have been mine, but they didn't give it to me. And they're not going to give it to you because she's not wrong. They want him to get married again so he can have more children, hopefully a male heir, and then that can be named his successor. And she knows it. And I don't know. This is going to get messy.
Oh, it's going to be brutal.
Oh God, I loved every scene. There wasn't a single scene about this episode that I didn't absolutely love. Anyway, look, we can just sit here and talk for hours, but we do want to get on and hear from you guys and hear what you guys have to say about this. So we're going to now go over and start taking those. But before we do, we're going to take just a split second here and hear from a sponsor of this video today, our friends at True Classic. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, True Classic. This brand new sponsor has the absolute best fitting t-shirts that a man can buy. Finding the right t-shirt with a little bit of a dad bod is incredibly frustrating. Most t-shirts are either way too tight on your gut or look way too big and boxy. You're not in high school anymore and it's time to upgrade. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men finally get a better fit at an affordable price. And the John Campea Show viewers and listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off using the code CAMPEA at trueclassic.com. Look, you and I both know that almost all of men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs. But let's be honest, that's not most of us. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt that you can always confidently throw on. Like most of you guys, ever since college, I have always struggled to find proper fitting t-shirts that are comfortable. Well, True Classic, from the moment I put on the shirt they sent me, solves it. And True Classic doesn't just stop at tees. From polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit. Upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the promo code CAMPEA. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day refund policy. Stay classy with True Classic. Your dad bod will thank you. And thank you so much to True Classic for sponsoring today's episode of our House of the Dragon after show. If you want to, guys, the link and the promo code for them are down in the description. I'm actually wearing a True Classic right now. I love it. I got a couple of their shirts. Love them. Go and check them out. All right. I am now joined by Robert Meyer Burnett, who's in here as well. And before we get into the questions, just take a second, give us your general impressions. What really stood out to you in the episode?
I echo pretty much everything you said. I thought the episode was terrific. I thought the acting, if you could say, it stepped up from episode 1. It did. I mean, I really am enjoying all of the characters. I think Otto, he's a Machiavellian man, that one. The fact that, look, he moved his daughter into first position very quickly and very effectively. And I think we all like her, and I love the relationship that Viserys and her actually have. I thought that was a great development, and how she did him, brought him that gift back of the dragon piece that was destroyed from his model of Valeria. I loved all that. There's only one thing, John, that I bumped on a little bit in this episode. And they spent a lot of time with Viserys asking, what do you think I should do? Everyone's like, you got to get married. He's like, I get that. The realm. He rekindles a relationship with his daughter that had gone dormant since the death of his wife. And then, of course, when he finally says, yes, I am getting married, I wanted just a little bit more where I wanted to see him make a decision. He might have made a decision when he went to the small council to talk to one of those lesser characters, but I wanted to see a little bit of a turn. Like when he did it, he knows what he did is going to cause problems. I know he was asserting his power, and he's like, I'm tired of being manipulated by all of you people. I'm going to do what I want. And he actually, I think that there is a little bit of, he's a romantic. He did have some feelings for her, and he's like, you know what? Even him, I'm not going to marry a 12-year-old and a very young 12-year-old. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to allow anyone to manipulate me into position. I just wanted one extra scene, but barring that, I didn't need it. I got it. I understood why, he did it. But that was it. I mean, I thought this was a beautifully structured episode of television. I mean, it moves with a breakneck pace. One of the things that I need to acclimate myself, that I had to remind myself, is that there were 6 months that went by between the first episode and the second episode. So, and we're going to see time jumps and things are going to move rapidly.
Especially going into episode 3, I think. It looks like they're going to jump ahead to the marriage has already happened and a baby's already born. And
that baby is very important.
Yep, going to cause problems.
Going to cause problems. And the schism of the whole show is based on these people. But I thought it was a wonderful episode of TV, man. And I got to tell you, not since a couple of episodes of For All Mankind did I feel the tension that I felt when those two opposing sides were on the bridge at Dragonstone. I thought there was going to be bad juju going down, and I was actually surprised when she shows up, when the heir shows up on her dragon, and I loved when she just walks up between everybody, enough of this bother.
Yeah.
And then he walks away and flips her the dragon egg. I loved that. I thought it was great. And I love that they did that in the wide shot.
By the way, what's the name? What's her dragon's name? I think they mentioned it once, but I cannot. What's that?
Isn't it Dracarys also?
No, I think that's just the word you say. But let's say it's Lily for argument, just for now. The name of the dragon is not Lily. I can't remember the name of the dragon, but I love that she's not even taking shit from people on her own side. Because she walks up and Otto's like, no, Your Highness, you need to go. And he says, oh, Captain, take her back. And he goes, Lily's kind of protective of me.
Right.
You might want to be a little fuck you.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you know who, she's this episode, 6 months have passed. She is starting to assert herself. She's even asserting herself with her own father, speaking up in the small council.
Yes.
Father, you've got dragon riders. Send us. We will be a show of, I love that she's coming into her own.
And I love when she asked which egg was stolen, because that was the moment where she's like,
pissed.
oh, this isn't going to stand.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't going to do anything. And I think that was the moment when she's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I really did like that. And I think that all of these characters, they're so richly drawn. I mean, I was used to, in the first season of Game of Thrones, it took a little bit more time to sort of unfold because they had to set up the world. But now that we know what world it's in, they can move this at a breakneck pace. And I think it's exciting.
By the way, everybody in the live chat, thank you to all you guys in the live chat. Remind us that the name of her dragon is Cyrax.
Cyrax, right.
Cyrax. Right. So thank you guys. Actually, Hobo Deluxe says, no, the name of her dragon is Puff. Puff, the magical dragon. So Cyrax dragon. Thank you for that, guys. All right. With that down, let's get over and hear what your guys' thoughts, opinions, observations, theories, and speculation that you had about House of the Dragon. So let's bring that up here. Rob, what do we got in here?
Are we starting with Elif Barasil?
Yes.
One day I'm going to get your name right. King Viserys seems like a nice guy, but damn, he's a bad king. Corlys is not a guy to mess with.
I mean, yes and no. He is king. I would say the problem of his problem is not that he's messing with Corlys. It's that he's letting Corlys mess with him.
Right.
And that's the one thing, Daemon loves his brother, but his criticisms, there's some truth to it when he says, my brother is weaker. He does not like confrontation. And there's good aspects to that. But you also have to know when to flip the switch and say, let me remind you that I'm king. And stuff like that. And that is a bit of a problem, I think.
No, it's absolutely true. And I think, look, Daemon, I don't think he's immediately, everyone thinks he's like some bad dude. I think that he might share his brother. We did
watch him cut a guy's testicles off.
Well, it's
just
true.
Throwing that out there.
It's It's true, but I mean, in terms of, I don't think he's as eager to, because he respects his family. You know, I think that because they're painting him to be the obvious bad guy, when I think there might be more going on. But he likes his pleasures. He indulges his passions.
He's got a little bit of that in him. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, because Patty's in House of the Dragon, Daemon, everyone and their brother has dragons around here. Otto says, like who? Viserys, kings. Otto, who else? Daemon, king's brother.
By the way, I wanted to mention this too. How great of a moment, speaking of what he's just brought up there, is that moment when the two sides are facing off on the bridge, and then you just hear the rumble and the roar, and then you see the red wings of whatever his dragon's name is, come walking over thing, and he's got the Targaryen family crest on him, and he's just sitting there like, but again, at the same time, like the look on Otto and his side's face is like, oh fuck. It's like, why are you surprised? You know he has a dragon.
Right.
So why are you even remotely surprised? But still, that was a great moment. And then when she comes out of first of all, clouds like Jaws' fins sticking out of the water, starting to part, come to lands. And then they do that one wide shot where you see on the edge of the screen on both sides, the two dragons, and kind of a little, what's it called? The foreshadowing.
Oh, yes.
It's like mutually assured destruction.
Yep. And the foreshadowing is what is to come. It was a beautiful shot.
Well, we know that whatever results, it results in the end of the dragons, ultimately.
By that, Craxus. So, what do we say is the name of the other? Cyrax and Craxus, the two dragons. I'll never remember the names. Lily. I prefer Lily. All right, what's next?
Lily. A Christian Roarer says, what is the gender of small council of Hand of the King? Mostly male, but it varies. Get it? Anyways, loving this show so far.
Little run back to the other show. Very nice. Very
funny.
good.
That's good. I'll give that one up.
All right, what's next?
Golf clap there. Hero75 says, it may be overlooked in all the great moments, but when the king learned Daemon had taken the egg, which was supposed to go to his dead son, was such a power play and a middle finger to his brother.
Because listen, I think Daemon is a wonderfully rich character. There is a little bitch in him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was a child. Like when Otto was chastising him on that bridge, he wasn't wrong. I mean that was a child's move, and like he's just trying to get a rise out of his brother, I guess. But that was the wrong. It pissed off Rhaenyra.
Well, I love that his lady, even his what's her name? I mean, the girl from Devs in the white dress.
I always just say Misery, but it's
Misery. But I love the fact that even she got pissed, and she's like, "Are you telling me that you're telling people that I'm pregnant?"
Yeah, number one, that we're getting married.
Yeah, I mean,
number
give me a
I'm
pregnant.
Pregnant.
I love that. Don't you do that?
Mysaria is their name. That's why I always just think Misery. Mysaria.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Arjan Athwal says, Rhaenyra to Rhaenyra, your father is no fool. Me watching the first 2 episodes. Wow, the king is an absolute moron. I am loving this show so far.
You know what? Make no mistake, though. He is no fool. Like he is struggling between, like he's made a couple of what we think are incorrect decisions. But like, let's go back to the last episode, right? When Corlys comes in and says, we need to go and attack these things in the free cities. It's like, look, because he's not wrong when he brings up, if we do, we're talking about the potential for open war, which is going to lead to what the one council member said, untold numbers of deaths. Right. He's not wrong. But there was a middle ground that to be found. I think he is a flawed king. I don't think he's a bad king. I think in many ways he's a really good king, but he's got flaws, and those flaws are coming into play.
And I think he's also maybe too much of a romantic.
Maybe.
You know, he's too, he can't allow, what he's allowing is his sentimentality to get in the way of what needs to happen.
You know what Daemon would have done if he was in a situation? I think here's what Daemon would have done. Okay, so I need to be married again, produce more heirs. You make a great point. Aligning our houses with the Valerian house makes sense. However, your daughter's 12. So I'm going to take a new wife for 4 years. I mean, I guess to them 16 is appropriate, whatever. I'm going to take a new queen for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, we are going to execute my queen, and then I will marry your daughter. And that's what Daemon would have done. Cold, hard logic is what Daemon would have done. All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan says, yes, me again. Just have so much to say, laugh out loud. Millie Alcock is carrying the show and will be missed when another actress replaces her.
Yeah, because both Alicent and Rhaenyra are both actresses are being replaced as they fast forward through time. I'm guessing maybe
So I would
1
say
or 2 or 3 years.
succeeded.
Yeah,
They're not being
replacing.
replaced.
Yes, they're being succeeding. Though, and you're right. I'm going to miss her.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss both of them. I think both of them have done wonderful. And
They both had, I mean, if anything, the two of them had great moments in this episode.
yes,
Really displayed their acting chops. It was really great.
that moment they had together in the Septum was really nice.
Really nice.
And I think authentic, but led to some nasty feelings. All right, what's next?
Let's see, go down a little. Yeah, there we go. The man with the master plan keeps going. Going back to the show, is it me or did anyone want Damon to carry Otto? He's the little finger of this show. Did Alicent and Rhaenyra have a relationship and that's why Rhaenyra felt more betrayed?
No, they just have a very close friendship.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. People have said, well, you know, they were, but they just seemed.
No,
really,
I think
like,
they're just best friends.
I think so,
There's
too.
legitimate affection there. They're best friends. And that is what led to the feeling of betrayal, I think.
because Alicent didn't really tell Rhaenyra about her father.
No,
their
and
relationship.
in her defense, that was her father's directive.
Yeah,
that was the
of course.
king's directive. The king said, I don't want you doing this. Don't tell her about this. And he's king. So you got to, but I get the feeling of betrayal at the same
Yes.
time. All right, what's next?
The Sock says, I love this episode. The scene with her and the king after Dragonstone and her and Alicent were great. Also, Lady Lena, that
Yeah.
made me feel icky, gross.
Yeah, no, so icky, so gross. But bring that question up again just for a second. I just want to see something
And
there.
that's coming from the sock.
And that's coming from the
But
sock.
that's different than the sock and
Lotion.
the lotion.
There now. Here's the thing, though. One of the things I loved about that scene, where I was talking a little bit about how I love that this episode we were getting a lot of Rhaenyra coming into her own. Right. The moment in that conversation with her father after she gets back from Dragonstone, and he's given her the what for. Like, you are, and again, he's talking sense. It's not just that, oh, you're my little girl, I need to protect you. Although there is part of that, but he's like, you are the heir to the throne.
Right.
We are a vulnerable house right now. You can't be putting your lying on the line. And I love when she goes, may I sit? And she turns and walks away. And the look on Patty Constantine's face when she's out there, he's like, what just happened? Where she just simply goes, may I sit? And turn and walk around. I'm like, there's something great about that. Like because listen, I don't have kids right now, but I know and I dread and I fear, I'm not going to lie, I totally fear and I totally dread ever having a daughter because I know that if I have a daughter, she is going to fucking own me. Like I just know it. Like Ann and I have had serious talks about this. It's like, listen, because I like for my sons, I'll probably be a semi-strict Italian dad. Blah, blah, that'll probably be me, right? But I know that the moment my daughter realizes she can say to me like, do you mind if I sit? When I'm trying to have a zero, I know that she's gonna know that I am wrapped around her finger. And that moment when she says that, Patty Constantine plays that scene so freaking good. But just that, what just happened? I thought it was great.
I know it's true.
All right, what's next?
Allison Hoffman says 3 out of 17. Matt Smith knocks it out of the park.
I don't understand the reference.
3 out of 7. Is
I
that?
think it's a joke for the 8-parter earlier.
Oh,
I get. No, again, look, first of all, Patty Constantine, Reese Fons, Matt Smith, the two girls we were speaking about, everybody crushes it in this show.
oh yeah.
Characters, performances, narrative, the machinations and just the planning and the manipulating. It's just everything is just so delicious.
No, it is a delicious show.
It really is. All right, what's next?
James Argenta says, does Steve Toussaint portrayal of Corlys Velaryon increase your anticipation of the animated prequel spinoff about his 9 voyages? I didn't know that they were doing that.
I didn't know either, and an actor's performance is not going to get me more excited about it.
I would rather see him in a live action version of that
So would
show.
I. So would I. But hey, I'm sure it's going to be good.
He just looks cool.
He looks.
I just love him.
He looks great. All right, what's next?
Hero75 says, book reader here. I wish they would explain that Old Town, where Otto is from, is south of the Stepstones, so its trade wouldn't be affected at all by the crab feeder and may go up because of it. Now, that's interesting to know because I have no benefit. I'd rather see the crab feeders win.
Well, I don't know that he gets any. I really don't think he gets any benefit by the crab feeder doing what he's doing. But I mean, it adds more to the intrigue. Was it necessary to the narrative? And look, we get it. Otto and Corlys see things differently. And somebody brought it up here. He really is kind of the little finger of the thing. Maybe a little bit more noble,
right,
than him, but. Again, there's a lot of stuff that's in the books that's not going to be in the show. There's going to be things in the books that are going to be done differently. Like I think Rhaenyra in the book was supposed to be 8 years old when she was announced as being the heir to the throne. Obviously, that doesn't work as well for the story they're trying to tell, so they change it. So adaptation at the right time for the right reasons.
and plus Otto is the hand of the king.
Yes.
So he's supposed to be somebody who thinks far ahead.
Yep.
Like Tyrion was.
All right, what's next?
James Hoffman says, King Viserys is weak and dumb. I feel like he is not going to last long in the Game of Thrones. Also, Rhaenyra showing up on Dragonstone was my favorite scene.
Rhaenyra showing up at the whole Dragonstone scene, even before she showed up, I thought the scene was great.
It was great. And the way the tension as you see Otto and his knights marching up that long, the long thing, the tension was there. And you see, it was great.
Yeah, loved it. All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan says, yo, when the theme song came on, I yelled and scared the crap out of my family. My 14-year-old who enjoys MCU movies with me now thinks I'm a dork. And my 9-year-old thinks I'm weird. But the music is legendary.
We talked about that.
And that opening sequence.
Yeah.
Very different from Game of Thrones, but I love
But very similar, same style.
But the blood in the streets and the thing, it was so great. I mean, I loved it.
We talked about that this morning. There is some, and I don't understand this. There is pushback from some people that they use the same music. And what I brought up on the John Campea Show earlier today is I remember when Rogue One came out and they did not play the Star Wars music at the beginning. While Rogue One is a fabulous movie, it took you a while to get into it as a Star Wars movie because that music wasn't there. The Star Wars music isn't Luke Skywalker's music. It is the story of this galaxy that's being told. And when that music plays, it's like a trigger. It's a Pavlovian response in many ways. It's a trigger for us that whisks our imagination into that world and into that universe. The Game of Thrones theme is not Jon Snow's theme. It is not the Lannisters' theme. It is the theme of Westeros and the Seven Kingdoms and this world. And I think it was 1,000% the right decision to use that music for this show as well.
Also, the branding of everything, it's not just called House of the Dragon. It's Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And on all of their iconography everywhere, that's how they're identifying it. So all of these shows, I'm sure when the Jon Snow show starts, they're going to have the same music. Maybe a different iteration of it, but still you're going to get that theme.
I wonder about that. I wonder if it's because like House of the Dragon it isn't about any one of the characters, right? When you get into the Jon Snow show,
that's a good, okay. I even said this morning, Solo doesn't need the Star Wars theme.
Right. So, I mean, I will be totally okay if they use the standard Game of Thrones music for that as well. But I have a feeling since it really focuses on one person, they may have different music.
Could be, or they might use the Jon Snow theme and that will also
a different iteration of it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Christine Petrosian says, I love that amidst all of the fantasy elements, it's about relationships.
Yeah.
A father and daughter trying to talk and understand each other while grieving. I agree. That's always been a strength of this show.
But it could have been one that could have been easily lost, right? They could have been, hey, it's the Game of Thrones world. Let's have lots of battles and just dragons doing things. That's all you need. But one of the things I love, Christine, about this episode was the very fact that it was all character dynamic, deepening our understanding of the individual characters, the narratives that are being built, the machinations, the manipulations. Every character is playing the Game of Thrones. And I love that they're keeping the focus extremely on that. And we will get dragon action, and we will get battles and wars. All that is coming, but I love that they're laying this groundwork.
I agree.
All right, what's next?
A late night alum says, what's significant about the stepping stones that Corlys would turn to Daemon, and what'll happen after Daemon torches them as shown in the preview?
Well, I mean, the stepping stones is basically, it's the key trade route between two main destinations. And it's kind of like to conjure up a Dune imagery, the spice must flow. And for Corlys, that's where, what's the name of his island again? It's called
It's the driftwood.
The driftwood, right. So when you're the driftwood, which is like right in there, and he is the sea snake. I mean, that's his whole thing. That becomes very key to the entire kingdom. If those trade routes become unusable, it's going to cause problems.
Well, by Daemon doing that, if that's indeed what he's going to do, there's open wars upon you, whether you wish it or not.
Yeah, because it looks like, at least from
To
the
mix
preview,
my metaphors,
that Corlys and Daemon are going there by ship and by dragon, and it looks like some shit is about to go down.
yeah. In which case, it open warfare again.
Yeah.
Is that what? And they're setting up the king will have to deal with that.
Or the drift mark, not the driftwood.
drift
the drift
mark.
mark. That's right. All right.
The driftwood is his throne. I think
so.
or
Yeah.
something.
All right. What's next?
Let me see if I can get this. Ilef Beirasili.
Berosley.
Berazli.
Elif Berosley.
Elif Berazli. Elif Berazli. I think you're right. When I saw Lady Lena Valerian, I thought to myself, damn, she's young. Corlys and Otto pimping out their daughters to the king, and Otto won.
Yeah. Game of pimping. Look, on the one hand, I get it. You want your family lineage to be tied to the throne. I get it. I even get Corlys's whole thing is, because everything he said was factually right. We are the two originating family lines and surviving family lines of Valyria. We are the most powerful families. I am the sea power. You are the throne. This would be the most mighty kind of unit. It'll send a message of strength to the entire kingdom. All of that was true. But she's 12.
Yeah.
And no. And you can just tell he's like, as he's walking with her, he's so uncomfortable. Like,
So, and we were uncomfortable. That long wide shot where you watch him walking up the hill. Yeesh.
yeah, yeesh indeed. All right, what's next?
Deepak Manwar says, Rise Eye fans bringing out the big acting guns for the Dragonstone showdown. Easy to forget he started out in Notting Hill in his underwear.
I mean, honestly, I remember when I heard he was going to be in, I thought, that's interesting. It's interesting he's going to be in this Game of Thrones show. But man, how good he has been in this. And the dynamic between him and Paddy Constantine is just
It's great.
wonderful. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Me
All right,
too.
what's next?
Sam Automatic says, in episode 1, I thought it was creepy how Otto pimped his daughter to Viserys, but holy crap, is Corlys worse. At least Viz and Alicent have a real bond.
Yeah, and again, I think she's even older than Rhaenyra. So I think she's probably a good 5 or 6 years older.
Yeah.
And so, I thought that was bad too. Go visit the king and wear one of your mother's dresses. It's like, you asshole. But I mean, it's a lot better than Corlys did.
There's a mutual respect with the two of them. They've developed the kind of a relationship.
You mean the king and Alicent?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's legitimate. I mean, look,
agree.
a lot of people, I understand she's young, but in that time period or whatever time period it is in, that was not unusual.
Because, Rob, young 17-year-old girl, you dropped and broke your favorite hot toy and you thought it was ruined forever. And she comes back to you. And I said, I had it. I went back to the people at Sideshow and I had their artists put it back together for you perfectly. Come on. Your heart would then be owned, right?
It would be.
Yep. That would be a
It would
powerful,
be.
symbolic.
But you know what?
gesture.
But she'd also have to be smart. And the fact that she took the time to do that proves that she's also a very intelligent woman.
Yeah.
Because she knows what could get to me.
All right. What's next?
And I appreciate her for that. So thank you to my imaginary girlfriend. Mike's Movie Madness says, how do you predict they'll handle the time jump? Will we stay in the future or hop back and forth between periods? John, I think that we're going to move forward and we're going to leave. It's going to stay moving forward.
I 100% agree, and I 100% hope we're right. I'm not looking. This kind of show should not be a Highlander jumping back and forth between time periods. Now let's see what brought this on 4 months ago. And,
Right, no.
and you know, for some shows that works. It does, and for some shows it works great. That's not what this should be, though.
No, and I think they've already set up the pacing of this show, and it's pretty breakneck. And I would imagine that in the next episode, we're not going to watch a marriage, or maybe we will, or jump ahead. But I would imagine why bother? They get married, and you see the birth of I don't know which one it is, but it's the new Aegon. You know, whoever that's going to be, and he becomes this crucial figure in the show. Let's get to it because we got a lot of story to cover.
Yep, a lot of ground to cover. All right, what's next?
Okay, one more time, Jonathan. Elif Barasley. Okay, Barasley. Elif Barasley. I hope I got it. Otto has Littlefinger vibes.
He absolutely
yes,
does.
He does.
Yeah, I think everybody's picking up on those. Again, I think as a little bit of more of a moral compass, maybe a little bit more noble, but he's got all the sneakiness
I feel
there.
more like he's a Varys. Littlefinger, his motto is chaos is a ladder, and I don't feel like this guy. He was more about order than chaos.
Yeah,
But Varys is more about order and controlling things to keep. You know what I mean?
but he, to quote Heath Ledger's Joker, he's a schemer.
Yeah. Well, that's
True.
Schemer.
Scheming all the little
with his
schemes.
plans. And very, very much a little finger kind of thing there. But yeah, I think a little bit of Varys in there too. All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan says, last one, I promise. Thoughts on dragons having magic to heal, de-age, and revive? This way, Millie can be in season 2. And dare I say, Daenerys at the Jon Snow spinoff.
Look, again, as somebody who, I'm not a reader of the book, so I don't know if you're actually referring to some of this in the books, but fuck no.
Yeah, I don't think that.
No,
yeah,
no, I don't like that idea at all.
I like dragons burning people up.
Yeah, that's
eating
good
them.
enough. And eating them.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Arjan Athwal says, Viserys slowly dying from infection due to the wounds from the Iron Throne would be such an appropriate death after Daemon told him he was weak.
Well, I mean, it's an appropriate death too, just for the symbolism of itself.
Right.
Like he told his own daughter, said, look, that throne is the most dangerous place in Westeros to be. That's that throne. And the whole even imagery of the throne will kill you. Like the throne will wreck you and decay you and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's some beautiful imagery in there as well for what they're doing. But yeah. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I didn't catch it at first, but the stone dragon figure breaking in half is an excellent use of foreshadowing and symbolism.
So help me out here. I picked up, again, as somebody who hasn't read the books, I'm just a fan of the TV show. I'm here to talk about the show. But he was telling the story of himself that he was the last rider of the great black dragon, right? The one whose skull they stood in front of as he said that Rhaenyra was going to be his heir and all that kind of stuff. So I am curious, is a Targaryen, and you guys in the live chat might be able to help me with this, is a Targaryen only able to be bonded from the dragons that they were bonded with once the dragons were born? Can the king not take another dragon? I don't know what that dynamic is. Or was he just so attached to his dragon that I'm done?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if they put a dragon egg in your bassinet or whatever when you're a child, do you bond before it's born?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Is it, Laura? It's Avatar style. You plug in.
By the way, somebody brought up a really good point in the live chat. I think it was TJ. TJ writes that dragons should eat people with sauerkraut.
I was just reading that and chuckling.
I think perfect, great observation. Hey, I'll tell you what, many more questions to come here, but I am going to tag in Kris at this point, and so go ahead, Rob. What's the next question?
The next question is, oh no, Ilif Barasley. Is that right? Barasley. Sorry, I was just joking. Love the face-off between Daemon and Otto. I'm beginning to like Daemon. He respects strength. He chuckled at Christian Cole's jab at him. Like, good one. He also respected Rhaenyra's stepping up to him. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I'm short. I'm so short. Okay.
Would you like your cushion
Can I have my cushion?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Rob, you're a gent. Thank you.
I try.
That's good content.
This is awesome content.
It is good content.
Let's see if it helped. Wow.
Oh, okay.
We got to fix this. Pink. There we go.
Yay.
All right. Moving on.
Damn it. Oh, no, I already got that
Yeah,
one.
you got
I got that one.
You're good.
I've been massacring them. Guys.
Sam Fisher.
Sam says, I loved hearing the Game of Thrones theme again, and I love the choral line they use for Rhaenyra's leitmotif, like when she goes to meet her dad after Dragonstone. I have to say,
yeah.
there's a lot of great new music in this show.
There is. That's why I thought it was such an odd complaint because, we've got the brand recognition, that epic song, but then everyone has beautiful music tied to their characters too.
By the way, can you imagine if you're producing this show and you've got Raman Dawadi, how Dawadi, I pronounce his name, and he was expected to come up with a new theme?
Yeah.
Can you imagine him going time after time after time to George R. R. Martin going, what about this theme?
Yeah.
I can't imagine he'd ever win that
No,
one.
it would be a losing battle.
It would be a losing battle.
Absolutely. And I don't think people would have liked a new one. Jonathan pointed out this morning, it would have been, it's not as good as the original.
Yeah.
That's how
Right, that's what they would have said.
Exactly.
It was the right way to go. Mike, should I keep reading?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
Mike's Movie Madness. Episode 2 was so amazing. I'm loving Rhaenyra, but my only worry is when we do the time jump and the new actor takes over, they won't be as memorable. Which episode do you think the time jump is?
Ooh, I know earlier in the chat people were speculating episode 6. I don't know if there's any merit to that though.
I think it's episode 4.
Yeah.
It's episode 4 because I think.
Okay.
Or maybe, I don't know if it's because, look, the Targaryen Civil War is basically between Rhaenyra and her half brother, he is born next week.
That's true.
So that's that's what's happening.
Yeah. So we need those older actors in there.
Plus, we
too.
know that they go to the stepping stones and there's a battle there. So we know there's got to be some more time before a time jump.
That's very true. And as far as, not having as memorable of an actress, I mean, Millie is crushing it. Don't get me wrong. She's wonderful. But so far, the casting on this
Stepstones,
show
I mean,
has
not
been
stepping.
so excellent.
Yeah, do you think they're going to cast an actress that isn't good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we got the schleprock actress who put there.
Yeah, we'll just put in this schmuck we found. Nah, she's going to crush it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
Absolutely. What else?
Sam Fisher says, what is the likelihood we go into episode 3 and Viserys has had to have his left pinky amputated? I think we will slowly see him die of sepsis.
Ooh.
Probably.
Probably.
I'll tell you one thing, though. That whole vat of mealworms or maggots or whatever,
Maggots.
and he just puts his hand, doesn't care.
Full fear factor.
I wonder if
Just
that
sweet.
feels good, though. If that's going on with your finger and they're eating away all the dead flesh, does that feel like somebody's just giving you a back massage?
Maybe it's super soothing.
I never want to know.
No, well, I just don't understand why we're not cauterizing things. I don't know. I mean, or chopping off a fingy. Do that.
Didn't they cauterize his back?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So I get maybe that's not working. I don't know. Trust the science of maggots.
I don't know. Don't like it.
Alrighty.
Arjun Athwal says, who are your 3 standout characters so far?
Ooh, who are yours?
Well, I got to go with Daemon. And I think I got to go with Corlys.
Heck yeah.
And I've got to go with Otto.
Ooh.
But that's only because I'm looking at them. I mean, I know where the two, Rhaenyra and Alicent, are great.
Oh, they're incredible actors.
So, but
They're really fun characters.
I like the court intrigue. So
I would have the same lineup, but swap out Otto for Viserys, just because I think Patty is crushing
great.
it. He's so good, and he's making a character who has done a lot of unlikable things really likable, which concerns me too. Because when time comes for him, when he dies of sepsis or whatever,
and I think because we know he's doomed.
yeah,
He's doomed.
I love a doomed character.
Even though I love him, but
Yeah.
he's not long for the world.
absolutely,
He's not going to make it to episode 10.
No, tragic romantic, he gonna die.
He's
Poor man.
yeah.
Poor man. All right, what else?
A-Rod 2006 says the whole scene of Rhaenyra riding into Dragonstone on that dragon and the conversation with Daemon Targaryen was peak Epic Thrones. Or peak Game of Thrones.
It was Epic Thrones.
It was Epic Thrones.
It was Game of Thrones, Game of Throning hard.
Yes, I thought so too.
Loved it.
Throw
Clap.
hard.
Throning hard.
Throning hard.
Sam Fisher says, I like that Alicent didn't go looking to become queen. You get the feeling that she genuinely cares for Viserys. That may have been Otto's plan and not hers. I think it absolutely was. He knew.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knew what his daughter was like.
Yes.
And he knew also that Viserys wasn't going to take her to bed.
Yeah.
He knew that. He knew that's why he's the hand of the king. So
Exactly.
he was hoping that maybe this friendship or something would bloom between them.
Exactly. He was making moves. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's very calculated. So I think that it's very lucky and fortunate that a true friendship has blossomed here.
Yes.
Because, if you are going to marry a child bride, I hope you're at least nice to her.
Also, there's a bond that's developed between them that never would have bonded if he just married her.
Exactly.
I mean, it might have happened over the years, but now they already have a friendship. And
When you pick your queen, you pick a friend.
you do.
That's the way to go. All right. What else we got?
There's going to be other parts of them that bond soon too.
Oh, Jonathan, no.
What? I just mean like their personalities.
And she's a redhead. Daniel Vakura says, I'm loving the show. From the preview for next week, it looks like a big battle is coming, which is earlier than expected. I love the pace. The time jumps don't make it feel rushed, which is impressive. I feel the same way. I mean, there's going to be a battle, but I don't think it's going to be like the Battle of the Bastards.
No. We're going to see some more gore and fighting, but I don't think it's anything super, super epic this coming week.
Plus, can you imagine being one of those crab eater dudes? Like, do you smell like crab all the time? I mean, I love to eat crab, but you have to wash your hands like 8 times.
Yeah, unless you're Ray. Off camera, Ray was letting us know he likes that. All right, what else we have?
Okay.
Arjun Athwal says, this really feels like season 1 through 4 level of political intrigue from Game of Thrones. Couple that with a massive budget. We're in for something special. Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, and remember, there's only one book so far.
Yes.
Of Blood and Fire, and there's supposed to be a second book, but the second book, it does not, this only concentrates on a section, the Dance with Dragons.
Yes.
And this deals with why there aren't any dragons anymore at the beginning of Game of Thrones. So
Very exciting.
I'm very excited about this. We're going to see some peak dragon action.
I know, but then also
But then it
dragon
means death
deaths.
scenes of dragons,
Yeah.
which were like the
And
worst.
They were so heartbreaking.
Between the dragons dying
And the direwolves?
and the direwolves,
Oh.
I'm like, F this show.
Yeah, that's anytime they murder a person, I'm
That was
like,
a
that's
good fine. I didn't like him
Yeah.
anyway.
And the
Exactly.
giant dragon keep building that you see up on the hill, that's not long for the world either.
No, it's gonna be so sad. What else we got on here? You got this. I believe in you.
Leaf Bayrosley.
Elif Barasley.
Yeah.
Thanks. Elif Barasley.
I just said it for you.
Has anyone told the king about the crabs? Viserys doesn't understand how bad the sit-in in the free cities. Death by crabs seems like a bad way to go.
It seems like a horrible way to go. Death by crabs?
Can't you
You
outrun
could
them?
get that in college, but yeah.
No.
Boy.
Oh.
That only
But
happened
yes,
once.
and the scene where he's actually lived, the guy's still alive, but it's still chewing into his
Yes.
foot.
Oh, it's
horrible.
It's in his foot.
That's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. But the free cities, though, and I haven't read the books, but correct me if I'm wrong here, y'all. They are very, very important. And isn't it a larger conglomeration of peoples than Westeros?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you look right here on my handy dandy little map, that I
oh, look
got.
at that, Jonathan. Oh, graphic.
So if you look over to the left, you see Dorne.
Okay.
And then so that's part of Westeros. This is very far south. And the stepstones are all those little islands.
All right.
And then these are the free cities. You can see up there is Pentos, where we first met. Why am I drawing a blank on her from Game of Thrones, where she's still just a princess with her brother.
Yeah, with
Daenerys
Daenerys.
at Pentos. Yeah. So this is all Essos here. It's massive.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
So there you
Thank
go.
you. I learned
Wow.
something today. All right.
Dr. J says, love Daemon Targaryen. I honestly think he doesn't care about being on the throne.
I feel like he wants to be on the throne.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know why you would sandbox flirt like that, basically, of him just being gonna steal your dead kid's egg, gonna have him prostitute be my wife, I'm making heirs. I don't think he's just trying to stir shit up. I think he wants to be king. He thinks he'd be a better fit.
At least it'd be more better parties.
That's true. That'd be wild. Damon cuts loose.
It's true.
All
Probably
right.
has a great ecstasy dealer too. James Argenta says, a Game of Thrones fan theory that is that the egg Daemon stole is the future parent of Daenerys Dragon.
Ooh.
It came from somewhere. I mean, there was three of them, though.
It'd be a lineage thing, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could very well be. Why not?
Nice. All right. What else we got?
I mean, I guess that's already been written, though, or maybe not. I don't know. Jack Reams says, this season takes place over 30 years, from what I've heard. How do you think this season will end with that in mind? Well, they've said they're going to, it's been renewed already into season 2, and I think they're going to play out the whole Dance with Dragons. This is not going to go 8 seasons because the story's not
No,
8 seasons worth of
exactly.
story. I would imagine it'll either be 2 seasons or 3 seasons.
That makes sense to
Probably.
me. But 30 years in this one season? That seems That seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 10 years.
Yeah. I feel like over the course of the show, if we get those 3 seasons, maybe it's
that'll
a 10,
be
a 10, a 10.
30. Yeah, that's what
that
I
would make more
I would
sense to me.
assume.
Otherwise, we'd have a third set of actresses too, playing the older versions, unless we're getting into prosthetics.
Oh, this
be.
is like the Queen, the Crown.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Dr. Stinky says, hey, I'm just sending support.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Stinky. We appreciate you.
Sam Fisher says, how badass is the name Crab Feeder? Well, it depends on what end of the stick you're on there.
That's true.
Crab Feeder. I mean, I love crab.
Yeah.
I grew up in Seattle. We love our Dungeness
do.
crab. We love our Alaskan king crab.
Absolutely. At first, honestly, I was going into this episode because we've had the crab feeder mentioned, and it was, that's a stupid name. And then the opening this week went, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's-
Circle gets the square. Now
Yeah,
I'm here.
boy.
Now I get it. All righty. What else we have?
Scroll up here.
Yeah, go. Magic K says more people tune in watching this episode than the first episode. I think weekly, it's strength to succeed. What Magic K is saying is that the ratings were up,
Oh, nice.
and last week's rating shattered. HBO
It broke HBO.
broke HBO this season or this week. It went up even more. So yes, the weekly streaming as opposed to binging model seems to be working well for the show.
I think so. And I don't know if it was the same for you, but I had a whole bunch of friends who wanted to find out if the first episode was good first from other people and then started tuning in.
Yes.
Where it was, I've been burnt before. I don't want my heart broken again. And I think people are giving this a shot now.
I think so too.
And they should.
Don William says, based on my reading of the book and show, I think Otto is extremely ambitious and capable, but still protective and loyal to the crown. I would agree with
Yeah.
that
I think Otto contains multitudes.
because he knows he's not going to be king.
Yeah.
So he will protect the realm and do what he thinks is best.
Absolutely. But it
even if it
also-
requires his daughter.
Yes. And it also benefits him because Damon in power, Otto would absolutely no longer be the hand or anything like that.
No.
Damon can't stand him. So I think you can have both. He can have his own machinations and have his own goals and still be loyal to the crown.
I agree. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but hey.
Not so great, probably.
Elmist says, I see this show sweeping the Emmys next year.
Ooh.
Definitely a possibility.
If they keep up this momentum, absolutely.
And look, I think they know what they have. I think they're flexing. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
because they knew that this had to be great. I mean, I wouldn't want to. The pressure to follow up Game of Thrones, even if you don't like the 7th or 8th seasons, it's still monumental television.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, how many shows even run 8 seasons, especially at that quality level? Mm-hmm. So it's they knew what they had to do.
Oh, I totally agree. All righty.
Miguel Seja,
Seja.
bro. She can't watch Game of Thrones. She's too young.
Yeah, your 12-year-old probably isn't tuning into Game of Thrones. Otherwise, you're having a really awkward conversation about what Matt Smith is doing to that nice lady.
Yeah.
You know? That's a good rule of thumb. If you can't watch Game of Thrones, don't marry them.
That's Doctor Who's ass.
It is. Aw.
Don Williams says that opening sequence definitely pays homage to the title of the book, Fire and Blood. And Mamma Mia, that's a lot of blood.
Is that your Italian?
No, Mamma Mia, that's a lot of blood.
My
that better?
ancestors are just like, no. No, that was fine.
Is that okay?
It was all right.
Sorry,
It's a
I'll
lot
work
of
on that.
blood.
It's a lot of blood.
What else we got, guys?
Don William 102 visits a good man living in the shadow of a great man. His grandpa Jaehaerys the Wise is the greatest that ever was or ever will be. 5 of Viserys' councils served under the old king and are well respected by all.
Ooh.
Oh, here, there is a 2. Okay.
Is that Jordan Patterson?
No,
no,
Duval.
Duval.
Oh, it is. Don Williams says, people look at him and see a pale imitation of what was before. I doubt Viserys likes that, but there's nothing he could do about it. Yeah, because the other king served for like 60 years. What's he going to do?
Yeah. Man. I love when people from the books are chiming in here, too, to give a little more context on the
Yes.
show. I really should pick this one up. All right.
Jordan Patterson says, Matt Smith seems to have less screen time this episode and stole every scene he was in. He might have had less screen time, but all of his scenes were very important.
They were so good. Oh, and he is such a powerhouse in this, too. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has these great silent moments that are so, so wonderful and well acted. And I think Matt Smith is just crushing it.
He is crushing it.
All righty.
Wait till the TARDIS shows up. It's going to be amazing.
Bow ties.
Sam Fisher says, how badass of a name is Crab Feeder? Did I already say that? It is.
Oh, that one
Yeah.
came through twice. Yeah.
Oh,
It came
okay.
through twice. Eduardo O'Neill says, love that Damon was talking like a political standoff until Rhaenyra comes and suddenly they speak as a family squabble. I loved the demeanor change. I did too.
Yeah.
I thought that was good because she already made her point. So now it's like, let's dial it down a little bit. So come on, we're family. When you use the word bother,
Yeah.
things are de-escalated.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it trivialized him so much.
Yes.
This is just annoying, Uncle. I don't like it.
Yeah, come on.
So you can kill me or we can move on. I'm
why
so
you gotta be
bored
this
by
way?
you. And that's, any relationship. You talk to the person you're talking to with a totally different lens based
Yes.
on your relationship. And they
Indeed.
did such a good job of conveying that.
It is true. Alex von Gollum says the dialogue scene between Rhaenyra and
Rhaenys and Rhaenyra?
Rhaenys and Rhaenyra was
Rhaenys.
great. Rhaenyra held her own and dodged the statements quite well. Great acting moments. That's the queen who never was.
Yes. Yeah.
The queen who never was. And I love that scene.
So good.
I love that because she's like Rhaenyra is still young and idealistic. And the queen who never was is like, you'll see.
Exactly.
And she's like, no. You'll see.
Yeah.
The young upstart. I love that.
Oh, that whole scene was so great. And like John was saying earlier too, that no, not you. They didn't do this to women. They did it to you.
Yeah.
So good. All right.
And how much do you think Corliss has had to listen to that over the years?
Oh my gosh.
I was supposed to be queen, damn it.
I was queen. This would be very, very different. All right.
Kelsey Channel says, loving the show so far, especially that all the characters other than Rain are at least a little shady. There's no good versus evil, just shades of gray. Like
Ooh,
life.
Yes, absolutely. And no one ever thinks of themselves as the villain.
No.
So you need to have your characters be multidimensional like that.
And what I do like is, like, Corliss talks about how he himself wanted things, but everybody's also, they are looking for the greater expansion of whatever realm they're working for. I mean, so people are thinking not just of themselves personally, because what personal gain, it's not like, I want to be king. It's not like Joffrey, who just was a dick and wanted. All these people realize that they're working in a much larger sphere. They can't just do whatever they want, party all the time. They don't want to do that. They can't. They've got to think of the realm, because if the realm is not protected, if they're power based, then all will fall. And what good is that?
Exactly.
So
well said, Rob.
I like that. Well, thank you. V says they should have played Hanoi Team Ike song in that scene. I don't know that song.
I don't know that song.
But
I don't know that scene.
All right.
but you know what? I'm going to agree with our
Yeah,
viewer.
I trust you.
V, I agree with you. Just because your name's V, and I like that miniseries with the aliens coming to Earth. Blake says the opening sequence is a depiction of the Targaryen family tree. The blood represents the literal blood line.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought, but now to have him say that, Blake, I think you're absolutely right, and I love it.
Oh yeah, it's
fire
so
and
cool
blood.
looking.
Fire and blood, baby.
Next.
Santez Henderson says, what I love about the show so far is that everyone is scheming with their political machinations for some kind of influence for the top prize, as always.
Yeah. Well, and that's what makes this show so great. Yes, there's dragons. Yes, there's cool fantasy wardrobes and locations, but it's a political drama.
It's political drama about people. Mm-hmm. The magic takes backseat.
Exactly.
Dwan Williams says another thing with V is that he absolutely abhors all manners of conflicts, which is likely why he didn't tell Rhaenyra waiting for the storm is V's MO. I love when he talked about that, though. You gotta go into it. You can't just wait for it to come sweep over you.
Yeah.
You've got to do something.
Oh, it was such a good line. All right.
It was good stuff. Santez Henderson goes on to say, King Viserys is in a no-win situation no matter what he does. That's pretty true.
That's pretty true. But also, I mean, you can understand his daughter being extra upset about this too, because he spent the last 6 months basically not talking to her. And now she finds out, hey, my confidant, my friend in this world is who you're marrying. You've been hanging out with my bestie and not talking to me, Dad?
Well, it's not good.
No.
But if he'd married a 12-year-old bride, he would only be doing something that really one man wanted him to do. Everybody wants him to get married. And he did the kingly course of action, which is, I'm not doing what you're telling me to do. I'm doing what I believe is what I should do.
But just can't see that he's still being manipulated though by his own hand.
I know. But I'd rather be manipulated by my own hand.
Goodness gracious, Robert. Easy.
Dr. Stinky sends in a super chat.
Thank you, Dr. Stinky. We appreciate it. And is that it?
Yeah, it is all.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being here because we can't do these after shows without you. Thank you so much for your support and writing in all these awesome questions and discussion points so we could talk about them and this lovely, lovely show.
And I'll bring my maps.
Yeah. Jonathan will
that.
always be here with his maps. Rob and I will be here with our scotch. And John Campea will sometimes be here too.
But other times not.
But right now, not so much.
Maybe he's gone to Dragonstone.
Maybe. Ooh, there we go. Well, Rob, you want to close this out for us?
Well, I want to thank, first of all, Jonathan Voico for producing this great show. I want to thank all of our viewers for generously sending us super chats. We have great things to talk about, things to discuss. I want to thank our sponsor for sponsoring this. I mean, those are great clothes.
Those are.
What is that, Jonathan?
Good old True Classic.
A true classic.
classics.
I mean, I got to get me. I love the way John's t-shirt falls on him. I want one of those.
Ooh.
So probably 3 or 4 of them. So thank you for being a friend of the channel. And on that note, I guess we're going to come back for another. Are we doing post shows or pre-shows? Are we doing
We
pre?
shall see. No, because it's on the weekends. So
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
now
just
it's on the
post
weekend.
for this one.
Just
yeah.
post for this one. Well, episode 3. So join us here in a week.
Yes.
Monday, a week from today, and we're going to be back with who knows what shenanigans will befall our characters.
Maybe there'll be a new baby. Who's to say? We'll find out. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.